What's up, guys? Still continuing from where we stopped yesterday. Remember, I had installed a continuous glucose monitor on my arm to monitor whatever happens when I eat and the effect of the food on my blood sugar. So, this morning we'll be having this plate of stir fried macaroni with fried egg. And this plate contains about 300 grams of macaroni, and of course, just one fried egg. So the combined calorie count is about 500 calories, and it contains about 85 grams of carbohydrates, about 20 grams of protein, and 15 grams of fat, and 3 grams of fiber. So once I'm done eating, I will show you what this meal does to my blood sugar from the reading of my continuous glucose monitor. This is some hours after the meal, and I feel there's some information I need to put out there to ensure that when we are looking at the graphs, we'll understand exactly what the graph is saying. First of all, there are two ways of measuring blood glucose. Number one is in millimoles per liter, and number two is milligrams per deciliter. And the numbers, remember, I talked about the numbers coming in yesterday. For you to know what is normal and what is not normal, first we have to know what are the normal ranges of blood glucose. And here I have it on this sheet of paper. Normal is anywhere between 70 milligram per deciliter to 100 milligrams per deciliter. Pre-diabetic, which means that your blood sugar is above normal, but you are not considered diabetic yet. Or for people who are pre-diabetic, it's between 100 milligrams per deciliter. These numbers are considered fasting blood sugar values. Okay, fasting blood sugar is the amount of glucose in your blood before you've eaten anything. That's fasting blood sugar, and your fasting blood sugar should be, for a normal non-diabetic person, should be between 70 milligrams to 100 milligrams per deciliter. For pre-diabetic is 100 milligrams per deciliter to 125 milligrams per deciliter. You see, it is higher than that of a normal non-diabetic person. So it's from anywhere between 100 milligrams per deciliter to 125 milligrams per deciliter. And for a diabetic person, fasting blood sugar can be anywhere above 125. That is why they need the external help, taking insulin and all these other medications to ensure that the glucose in their blood comes down to the normal range. Now, remember, we are talking about the amount of glucose in our blood after meal. So we should also know what is the normal range after meal. And if you are taking anything that shoots the after meal numbers above the normal range, then you know that something needs to be done about it. So the normal range after meal glucose numbers should be anywhere between 100 to 140 milligrams per deciliter. That is when you take something really, really sugary, it can shoot your blood sugar numbers to as far as 140 milligrams per deciliter. Then for a pre-diabetic person, if you see your blood sugar going, or blood glucose going as far as 100 to 180 milligrams per deciliter, then you know that particular food item you ate is not good for you. So you need to either cut it out of your meal or do something about your glucose levels, because it is going outside the normal range. Then for a diabetic person, of course, sometimes it might get above 200 milligrams per deciliter after meal. And that is why when it gets that high, definitely something has to be done about it. Now, the whole idea of me making these videos is to encourage you to keep an eye on your blood sugar levels and ensure that whether it is fasting blood sugar levels or your sugar levels after meal, it should not go too high. And if you know any food item that you eat that takes your blood sugar level way outside the normal range that we just mentioned in this video, you need to do something about it. You don't need to wait until you are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes to take precautionary measures. Any food item that you eat that takes your numbers higher and outside the accepted range that I just mentioned, then you need to do something about it. Either you cut it out of your menu or you just avoid it altogether for your own sake. So, having said that, let's go into looking at my numbers, the readings I got after having that delicious meal this morning. From this graph, we see that as at when the meal was taken, when I had my breakfast, it was about 79 or 80, anywhere between 79, 80, 85 milligrams per deciliter. And after I had that meal, it moved from 80 to 110. I think that was the peak. The highest value we have here is 112 milligrams per deciliter. It means that that particular meal had lots of carbohydrates in it, which raised my blood sugar level to as far as 112 milligrams per deciliter. So if you are concerned about your sugar levels going excessively high, you should know that macaroni contains lots of carbohydrates and is likely going to spike your blood sugar levels. And please take note that these numbers will be different for different people. These are just my numbers, and this is mainly for educational purposes. So this is just to show you what happens with your blood glucose when you eat carbohydrate meals. And we are going to be continuing to carry out these tests with different meals so that we see what happens in our blood when we have any of these carbohydrate meals. And if this video is useful to you, please smash the like button and share this video so that other people on your friends list or other people on your timeline can also learn from this and do the needful on time, because you don't need to wait until you are diagnosed before you start cutting out carbohydrate from your meals. Any sugary meal, any sugary thing, any carbohydrates, even if you cannot cut it out, you have to reduce it to the barest minimum, because the less carbohydrate you take, the lower your chance of developing type 2 diabetes. All right, see you in the next one.